Today, I'm going to be interviewing someone who sold their agency in 2021 and at its peak was making 300,000 per month in profit. That's right, 300K per month in net profit. He is going to reveal his entire sales process from discovery call to the demo presentation and everything that you need to sign clients with ease. His name is Joel Kaplan, and now his focus is teaching other agency owners how to get clients and scale to multiple six figures per month using Agency Lab. If you want to learn the sales secrets that has helped Joel sign over 200 clients, then watch this entire interview because he holds nothing back. He's also allowed me to leave a link in the description for this entire sales process so you guys can actually download it for yourselves. So sit back, take notes, and let's get into it. Joel, what's going on, man? Really great to have you on the call.
Hey, yo, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
No problem. I'm excited to get into this.
Absolutely. I got a lot of stuff I'm going to be giving away. And, Cody, when we first chatted, we were like, what is the most valuable thing that we could give to your audience? And I was like, yo, Cody, I literally want to hook everyone up and give it all away. And you were like, there's not a lot of videos talking about the sales process online. There's definitely been an uptick on like how to get clients results with like go high level. And obviously there's like a lot of cold calling and like DMing videos, cold outreach, but there's no one really talking about sales. So that's what we're going to go over today.
Fantastic, man. I'm really excited to get into it. So yeah, happy for you to take it away.
Awesome. Well, as Cody said in the intro, my name is Joel Kaplan. I scaled my agency to 300K a month at the peak. And, we've worked with hundreds of clients. Our niche was chiropractors. At one point, we also did work with dentists, and then COVID hit. So we decided to just focus on chiros.
Yep.
We scaled the dental side to like 80K a month before we shut it down. And, after that, I had a lot of people reaching out being like, yo, Joel, how did you scale? And I launched a coaching program called Agency Lab, which has been, a massive success as well. We've helped a ton of people, and hopefully I can give you guys something really practical and valuable today. So we're going to just jump right in. And actually, before I show you guys anything, quick little heads up on sales. Number one, energy and conviction always will beat the sales process. Now, obviously you need to have a script, obviously you need to have a sales process, but if you're very low energy, if you don't feel good, if you don't believe in what you're doing, you can have the best script in the world. It's not going to work.
Not going to help you.
Yeah. So absolutely. Like that's one thing that I like to tell people, like first make sure that you're dialed in physically, mentally. If you had a really rough day, it's going to be really hard to be on a sales call and really help someone out. And
it's going to reflect, man.
For sure. So as a foundation, make sure you're dialed in. Totally. That it's funny because like media buying, it's not really a matter of how you feel.
No.
Or like managing go high level, like you could feel like shit, but still do the work.
Exactly.
But if you feel like crap and you try to do sales calls, it's going to reflect. So that's one thing I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say is, guys, it takes repetition. It's you have to practice. So one of the things that I like to tell people is like, how do you get good at playing the piano?
Practice.
You can't just like watch a video about it, right? Like
exactly.
And
you have to do it.
With media buying, maybe you can. It's more technical, so you can kind of just copy and paste. There's a little bit more, just like again, you could just press the buttons and
a couple of buttons. Test a few things. Put a couple of things out. And
you don't need to have like create years and years of practice, but like. With sales, it's really a skill and a muscle.
Yeah.
You have to build.
So and then you have to keep training it, right? It's like going to the gym.
For sure. Yeah. Like the biggest companies in the world do daily sales training. Like my sales team every single day, mandatory sales training. And if you miss more than 3 in a month, you're off the team immediately. Like we're extremely strict about sales training, even at the more advanced you get. Yeah. And if you're just starting out, you need to form what I like to call a sales squad. Even if you don't have sales team to practice with, you can find 2 or 3 friends where all you guys are going to do is review your calls. You're going to do role play, objection handling. And if you have nothing to go over, you're going to learn something new. You're going to literally pull up a sales video or read a chapter in a book and just learn something new to, again, continue building the muscle. For example, my sales, and this is the last thing I'll say before we dive in, my sales guy that was the record-breaking sales guy for all of my companies. He's got the most number of sales ever. His name's Omir. He's absolutely amazing. He went off to start a VA agency and he's crushing it now. But he couldn't close for 6 months. Everyone sees him as like this closer. He sucked at first. Like we almost let him go. It got to the point where after like 6 months, I was like, and we let him stay for way too long. Now I give
a long
people
time, man. That is a long time. 6
we
months.
we really liked him. That was the problem. But and I was just starting out. I didn't really know what to expect. But I was like, yo, if you don't close a deal, we're gonna have to let you go. And he ended up turning things around and really going all in and ended up being one of the best closers. So it does take time. It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
The first day you go in the gym, if you lift weights, do you look muscular afterwards? No. The first day ever.
No.
It takes time. Like it takes time for you to see the results.
It takes years of training, right?
Yes. So,
and it's
so give it
consistent.
time.
It's consistent training, day in and day out.
Yep. And I guess I'll say one last thing about sales. Most there's a lot of people that use like a one call close.
Yep.
That tends to be a bit more of an advanced strategy. There's also some people that tend to do some more advanced tactics, like ask more deep questions and really dig deep on their pain. But for most people, I actually want to keep it simple at first and give you guys an easier framework to follow, just so you can get repetitions, just so you can learn, get comfortable talking to people, asking for money. And then over time, you're going to want to level up either into a one call close or just level up into asking more complicated questions and setting the frame and taking the lead in more complicated ways. But for today, I'm going to give you guys what I give every single person, between 0 and 20K a month with their agency. Yep. It's not the most advanced. You're not going to collect money on the first call. It's a 2-call close. There's 2 steps, it's 2 calls, but it works really well for people that want the training wheels, or really everyone that needs the training wheels at the beginning. So
fantastic.
Does that kind of set things up? Make sense?
It definitely does. It definitely does. And I'm sure everyone's going to be really excited to see this.
Cool. So let me actually go over this one first. So let's say someone schedules a call with you or let's say that you ran paid ads. I know you like to teach paid ads, and they scheduled a call with you to speak about your agency services and how you can help them. This is the script that you're going to take them through. Now, again, this is part 1. It's going to be a 2-call close. This is call number 1.
Okay.
I'm going to just walk through it. Again, there are some scripts out there that go a little deeper and make it more complicated, but it's also more advanced. I like to keep it simple. You don't have to dig so deep. All you're really trying to do is ask them some questions to better get to know them. And the goal is getting them to know, like, and trust you on this call, getting them to like build some rapport with you. And number 2 is to sell them on the second, to sell them to actually show up to the second call with excitement. So it's like, if at the end of this call, they like you and they're excited about the next call, that's the goal.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So it's, hey, Dr. John. So then you'd respond and it'd be like, hey, Dr. John, this is Joel with Atlas Digital. How are you doing today? Then you'd say, I'm doing well. Awesome. Well, we had a call scheduled at this time. Is this still a good time for you, Dr. John? And let's say, yeah. Awesome. Just so you know, right off the bat, this is a short call. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, although it actually takes a little bit longer, side note. But really the whole point is to learn about your practice and find out what new patients you're looking for, and really making sure that we're able to help you. Dr. John, does that sound good? Yes. Okay, awesome. So Dr. John, tell me, what made you want to get this call scheduled today? And, you're going to dive in, share a little bit more. You could say things like, tell me more about that, or that's interesting. How did that happen? Or, you're going to ask questions to
based
go a
on
little
what
bit
they say,
further.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
like make it a normal conversation. Like
Yeah.
if a friend tells you you're having a conversation with a friend and they tell you something like uh really interesting, you're not going to just be like, okay, next question. You're going to be like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Tell
Like
me, tell me about that. Like, how did that happen?
exactly.
Yeah.
So you want to flow naturally. Then after that, you're just going to get to know what they've tried in terms of marketing,
Yep.
what sort of things they've struggled with, what do they like about agencies, what do they hate about agencies, what are their goals. And I'm not going to go through every single question, you guys have this, but I'll go through like 2 or 3. So awesome, let's dive in. How are you currently getting new patients? Are you guys doing events, referrals? Are you guys doing any online advertising? Tell me a little bit more about that. Then you'd answer, then I'd say, awesome. And have you guys ever used a marketing agency in the past to grow your practice? And then you'd be like, yeah, okay, well, why did you guys stop working with them? And then you'd respond and I'd be like, and what did you like about them, if you don't mind me asking? And what did you not like about them?
Oh yeah, we liked this and we liked this about them, but we didn't like, how they did X, Y, and Z.
Oh wow, yeah, I can't believe they did that. Sorry that had happened to you. I know that there's a lot of marketing agencies out there, blah blah blah. And what would you say is your you wouldn't say blah blah blah, I'm just trying to speed it up.
Awesome.
For anyone watching this. And what would you say is your ideal patient? Are you looking for more, wellness patients, or spinal decompression, or weight loss, neuropathy? And you just keep going. The
Yep.
goal again is to ask them all these questions. Now one of the easiest ways for people to get to know you is for people to tell you about themselves. It's kind of fascinating. Like if you just listen and let someone talk, they feel like they really know you, even though they're the ones that talk the whole time. So that's all we're trying to do here.
That's a gem right there, right? Like say that again for everyone, because that right there is something that people need to understand.
If you meet someone and you let them talk more than you, they will feel more connected to you than if you talked more than them. So really, remember at the beginning of this, I said the goal is for this call to help us build rapport and connection.
Yep.
What's the easiest way to build connection? For them to feel heard about what they've tried, what they haven't tried, what they like about marketing, what they don't like about marketing, what their goals are, what their team setup is like, what does success look like, what is the biggest obstacle in the way of getting to 30 patients a month, or 30 new clients, or 30 new roofing jobs, whatever it is. And so yeah, we're just trying to get them to feel heard so we could build rapport and have them feel connected to us. After that, we transition to the end. We say, great, that's all I have for you, Dr. John. From everything you've told me, it sounds like we can definitely help you reach your goal. The next step would be to schedule a quick 30-minute to an hour long demo presentation call where I will walk you through and show you the exact system that we're going to use to help you get to your goal of 30 new spinal decompression patients every single month. And again, it would take roughly about 30 to 60 minutes. And all we would need from you is just 2 quick things. One is for you to be in front of a computer with internet access. Would that be possible? So,
yes,
yeah,
it would.
awesome. And the second thing is for you to have all other decision makers on the call. These are the people who help you make decisions when it comes to marketing and reaching your goals with the business. Maybe your wife, or if you have another business partner in the business, it would be great to have them on the call. Would that also be possible? And they're going to say yes. And you say, awesome. What days and times do you usually have an hour opening? Do you prefer mornings or afternoons? And you then get them scheduled. And you say, awesome, just so I don't mess this up, what time is it for you right now? Then you're going to schedule the demo call on Calendly or on Go High Level's calendar. That way they get email reminders and stuff and text reminders. Yep. And you're going to repeat the date and time at least 2 more times before hanging up. That way it's solidified in their brain that they're committing to this date and time. And then at the end, this is how you confirm that they're actually going to show up. This is one of the hacks to increase show up rates. You say, is there any reason why you wouldn't be on this call? If there is a reason, they're going to tell you. If they say, no, there isn't, I'm going to be on the call. Now they've verbally committed to you to showing up, which creates much more follow through on that verbal commitment. So if they don't say I'm going to show up, people are more likely to just bounce. But if they say I'm going to show up, then they're going to follow through. So This is part one. This is the first call. There are some people that, yeah, there are some people that do some questions like on the pain and like, you know, if you could, like, how would your life change if you could solve this problem today? Like very deep questions, but you have to keep in mind, and I'm going to stop sharing while we keep talking about this. You have to keep in mind when you have a lot of authority, so people know you, people know Cody, they hop on a call with you to learn more. You can dig a little deeper because there's already trust established. There's already authority established. But if you're speaking to this person for the first time, it's like meeting someone and making friends. You're not going to open up and tell them your whole life story the first time.
Exactly.
First time, you want it to be a little bit more like getting to know them, but not pushing and digging deep. So again, those are some advanced strategies, but I like to keep it as simple as possible.
And the other thing too is if you ask those questions to like other salespeople, like real estate agents or other niches that understand sales, you will completely ruin everything that you've just built, that rapport that you've just built, because they know what you're doing, right? So that's the one thing that I personally say is like, you know, if you're going after a sales focused niche, don't ask those deep questions because they know what you're doing. You know,
whereas if you just get to know them and get to know their goals and what they want, they feel heard, and it's simpler. That's I love that. We're on the same page. I feel like also most agency owners are newer. It's there's a lot of people starting agencies, and for you to like talk to like a doctor and try to dig deep, like you're just the marketing agency. Like so I like to keep it simple. If as you go on, you want to push yourself and maybe dig a little deeper or do some more aggressive things to take the frame, which we'll talk about in a second, you can. But for now, just keep it simple. Now, one of the big things that I like to tell people, every single prospect is going to want to get you off of the script. Be like, well, what's the price? This is one of you have to stick to the script. You don't have to go super deep or like I said, but like if someone's like, but Joel, what's the price? I need to know the price. I can absolutely go over the pricing, and actually on the next call, if we feel like there's a good fit and we believe that we can help you, we're going to give you all the details. We're going to go over the price, how it all works, et cetera, et cetera. And we're actually going to come up with a customized plan just for you. That being said, just for this call, it'd be great first if we could get to know you a little bit more and see if we can actually help you. Then you go back to the script. So that was a long-winded way of saying, stick to my script. You know,
I think that's so important for people to hear though, because I think a lot of people think, okay, great. If I answer their questions along the way, that will actually help you, but it's doing you a disservice, right? You will lose that prospect if you deviate from that script, in my opinion. Right. If you deviate from that process, you're finished.
One of my big hacks is don't listen to what they say, listen to how they feel. They're saying what's the price, but what they're actually feeling is, do I trust this guy to take the lead? And do I trust this guy to take the lead? That's really what they're asking. And if you I know that there's like in the red pill world, they talk about like shit tests, like how if I don't want to go into it, but anyways, look it up if you want to learn about it. But it's a shit test. They're just saying, hey, is this someone that's going to fall for my trick? And then I don't really trust them because I'm going to have to lead here, or are they going to take the lead and guide me through this process? So when you say to them, I hear you, I know you want to go over the price, and we will go over it, but let's finish this first. You're showing, hey, I'm the one leading here. I'm the one in charge. And that's ultimately what they're asking for. They're not asking about the price. They're asking if they can trust you to lead.
100%.
So anyways, that's the power frame. It's really just taking the lead, and just make sure every time they try to take you off the script, reel them back in.
I mean, that is so important, man. Like if you don't, you're just going to lose all authority, and you're not going to be able to work with that client.
For sure.
They're not going to want to work with you.
Yeah. And if it's a genuine price question, like you could tell, like there's a difference between
Yeah.
a smoke screen, which is an objection, and actually expressing buying intent through those questions. So if they're like, oh, Cody, this sounds amazing. Like we actually really want to do this, but like we're a little bit worried about the price. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? That's very different than what's the price? I
Yeah,
thought this was free.
exactly.
Very
Totally different.
one of them, they're actually, it's a question to get more information to see if they can make this purchasing decision. And the second one, it's just a test to see if you fall for it. And again,
Yeah,
grab their bait, and now they can't trust you because they're gonna take the lead.
exactly.
All right. We can keep going through a little bit faster. I'm going to give you guys this version right here is great for if you're doing cold email or Instagram cold outreach.
Yep.
And they say, yeah, I'm interested. It's kind of the same script, but you're going to change the beginning. So,
Cool.
Hey, Dr. John. Yeah, this is Dr.
Yep.
John. Awesome. Dr. John, this is Joel with Atlas Digital. I'm the guy who emailed you about those new patients. I saw your email and I figured this was a good chance to connect and learn a little bit more about each other. I've got about 10 to 15 minutes before I've got to hop off. Is this still a good time to connect? Let's say they say, sure. And then you say, I've had such an overwhelming number of people that responded to that email. So I just wanted to use this call to see if we're a good fit. If not, no worries at all. But I will ask you some questions. And if it sounds like we can help you at the very end, we'll set aside another time to chat and go through the details. Does that sound fair? And they're going to say, sure. And you just jump right in. So it's really the same script. You're just changing the intro.
Yep.
Because this is for people that didn't book on your calendar. These is just for people that like responded to a cold email and said, yeah, I want more info, and you called them.
Yeah.
Or maybe they responded to your Instagram outbound message and were like, oh, this sounds interesting, and you call them, and then you address that at the beginning.
Yeah. Understood.
Make sense?
Awesome. Makes complete sense.
Cool. So, all right, next up, that's part one. Part two is the demo presentation. So this is what I like to call show and tell.
Yep.
So you're going to hop on the call and show the prospect on that second call how you can help them. And we'll go through it. So
fantastic. Let's do it.
Normally we send out a pre-call, like a call prep guide.
Okay.
Just going over some frequently asked questions, some testimonials.
Yep.
That's kind of advanced. You guys don't have to do that. But if you have social proof, if you have testimonials, if you have things that you could show before the call to get them a little bit more excited, send that over and make sure they had a chance to check it out. Then you go over like the sales process. So this is actually one of the hacks, is that we're actually getting them to see that they're about to buy by just telling them where they're at in the process.
Okay.
So we say, hey, before we begin, we just had our first call. This is, our demo presentation. If you feel like this is a good fit at the end of this call and you want to move forward, then we'll get started with the technical setup and the system build out. Then you're going to have your launch call with, in this case, if you're just starting out, it would be with yourself, and then we go live. So
fantastic.
You're kind of like planting the seed of like, hey, this is a sales call, by the way, and you might move forward.
Yeah.
Cool. So then I'm going to introduce the system with a big hook.
Yep.
You could say like, this is our AI system that guarantees 30 new prepaid booked appointments in 30 days for chiropractors all over the world. Without wasting their time and money on leads that are broke, impossible to get hold of, or no show ever again. So I kind of just do a huge hook. It's like, hey, this is what you're here, what you signed up for. A quick hack. If you have time and you're just starting out and you only have like 2 of these calls a day, I would actually personalize this slide for the client based on the goal that they gave you.
Yeah. Awesome. And how important is it to name your system, in your opinion?
I think it makes a difference. Like we've gone through a few iterations. We call it like our pre-pay and show up new patient system, Ashley AI system. But like, I'll show you a different variation of it. Like we've tested out like when COVID hit and people were worried about the recession back then.
Of course.
That was like what everyone was talking about. Recession. Like, I guess it's kind of happening again, but not as bad as like right when COVID hit.
Yeah.
We changed it to this, and then people really resonated with it. So it just and I'll make sure everyone gets access to all these 3 variations. It's not too important, by the way, guys. Like when we scaled our dental agency, I just want to show you guys, we used a much more bare bones version. Like it was like literally this scaled us to 80K a month, and it was extremely bare bones. It's like we didn't even name it. I want to share a system we created that is designed to help dentists and orthodontists close Invisalign cases on demand and collect an additional 20 to 30K per month. Like, and there's no social proof because we didn't have testimonials at first. We just jump right into the system. I'm showing you guys like variation 20, number 20, but like you can absolutely start with a simpler version. The goal really here, guys, is to show and tell, and like show, here's how I'm going to help you. And most importantly, I'm going to stop sharing for a sec. With agency services, the money is made when you retain clients.
Yeah.
So the money is made if they stay with you for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months, not the first month.
No.
What I noticed was when people didn't really know what they were getting and it wasn't clear to them what they're signing up for, and the expectation wasn't there, retention would drop. So even though you have to go into a little bit more features, and like product walkthrough, it's like when you buy a car, you just want to feel good in it. You don't really care about all the buttons. Like,
no.
And then the sales guy that's like, here, let's go through every single technical feature. Like, I don't really care. I just like the car, right?
Yeah.
But once you buy the car, you bought it. Whereas with agency services, especially if you're month to month, they're buying every single
month. Yeah.
So I noticed, even though it hurts the sale a little bit to go into so many features and technical and like showing you, it actually helps in the long run because they know exactly what they're signing up for.
Okay. Interesting, man.
Yeah. It was a game changer because then people were like, I know what I'm getting. There's no buyer's remorse.
Yep.
I know exactly what I signed up for. Whereas we actually tried a 1-call close for a while where we didn't show people anything. And then they were like, people would be like, I didn't even know this was Facebook ads.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to run Facebook ads. And we were like, okay, we got to make it very clear what people are getting.
Yeah, of course.
All right. If you have social proof, you're going to go through it at the beginning. My goal is to show you how you can use this brand new system to fill your practice with high quality patients that prepay and actually show up and close. But it's not just this doctor. We've helped all these doctors, and I kind of go through it really fast. I don't actually stop. Again,
and you don't go through each individual one. You kind of just skimming through it, right?
It's more for visual effect. And again, if you don't have any, you could start with very bare bones.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people won't have any. And, I think people think, if I don't have case studies, what am I meant to do? They stress out about it so much.
However, if you get 5 free trial clients and you do 5, you offer to work for free in exchange for a testimonial and a screenshot, you could be like, our system that has helped people like this person. And it's not just that person. It's also been this person, this person, this person, this person. So even if you only have 5 total, you can create the effect of showing, look, we've done this for multiple people, and just do 1 screenshot per slide.
Yeah. Awesome. What is your opinion on free trials, right? I just want to quickly
side note,
go on to this, right? Because I personally don't like them, right? I don't think they're 100% necessary, but it is also a confidence thing. But I know you've spoken about in another video that I've seen of yours, you do a 3-day trial or a 7-day something where you're generating them appointments and you're giving value on the front end, but it's not like a month trial.
My philosophy is like, if I were to start a new agency today in a brand new niche, 0 social proof, I don't need to do a trial. I know how to get them results. But if I put myself back in my shoes when I had a lot of doubt, insecurity, fear, am I actually going to get them results? I actually do think free trials are extremely valuable, and more so for you, the agency owner, to get experience and results and case studies as fast as possible. So do I think it's necessary? No, like I can show you how to get clients without free trials and without social proof but you also have to be confident in backing it up
Yeah.
when the time comes, because they just paid you. So
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that like your first at least 5 clients should be free trials, more so you can shortcut the whole issue of I don't know how to get results.
Yeah.
I always tell people it's not about how do I get clients without social proof or results or experience. There's like all these headlines like start an agency with 0 experience.
Yeah.
Well, it really should be start an agency and learn how to get experience in 30 days or less. Like
Yeah.
that's a much better promise. And like what I tell people is focus more on getting experience as fast as possible than not getting experience at all. So I do believe in them for that reason.
Yep.
Not necessarily to close. I actually think sometimes free makes it a little bit harder to close because the perceived, it's like, on Amazon, they've done studies where they raise the price on different products and like the sales go up because the perceived value goes up.
Yeah.
So free trials is more for you to get confidence.
Yeah. And that's what I would say. Like if you're not confident in closing and you're not confident in your ability to service that client, if you pitch even $500, you're not going to close that person because that will come across, right? That's kind of that's the only sort of time when I recommend free trials. If you've done some sales pitches and you just haven't been able to close, it's probably because you're just not confident in your ability to get that client results, and that's showing on that.
For sure. Remember what we said the first thing about sales?
Yep.
What was the confidence, energy? It's like, so if you're like, I'm afraid of taking this person's money because I don't know if I can get them results. Okay, well then let's just kill that and then make it easy for you to learn how to get results and then go back and ask for the money. So I do believe in it. I also am a huge believer in this is a big hack for you guys, picking one person to do free marketing for forever in exchange for them to become your power partner or strategic partner. And they could actually be your case study. They can make you an amazing testimonial video. They can also help you close. They could also be your reference. If someone asks to speak with a reference, be like, no problem, I have someone for you. Yep. Instead of trying to work around it and being like, no, I don't know if I can connect you with my reference. Like, well, yeah, I can connect you. No worries. And then they probably don't.
That's fantastic, man. I love that. I love that. I haven't heard anyone talk about that at all.
Oh yeah. And actually we'll go over the deposit at the end, but if someone wants to think about it, we then make them speak to our strategic partner before they make a decision. So now they're like, and then we pay out commission to our strategic partner who's a doctor. So it was Dr. Jen and Dr. Brian, and they would speak to prospects that were on the fence. And our closing rate just skyrocketed because after they speak to a peer, as opposed to an agency owner, their belief goes up. Through the roof. So it's almost like when someone's thinking about joining your program and they speak to another student, it's like, okay, cool. It sounds awesome. Let's do this. Whereas if they're just talking to me or someone else, 100%. They want a second opinion. So, okay. After you introduce the presentation, then you address the elephant in the room. You also make this elephants. What you're going to do is take your top 1, 2, or 3 objections and actually address them at the beginning. So if the objection you always get is, I've already tried this so many times, what makes you different? Then address that. If the biggest objection that you get is, you're in high school, just address it. Yeah. The mind works very strangely. If you tell someone, hey, I know I'm young, but this actually serves you because I'm extremely connected to what's working right now, then they see your age as a benefit, as an asset, not as a negative. If you don't, and you keep getting that objection and you don't address it, then they make up their own mind about what they think about your age. They're going to think, oh, it's just a teenager or whatever. But you always tell you, if you have less clients and they're like, well, why don't you have more clients? You could use that to be like, well, I'm going to create a much more personalized solution for you. So every objection could be turned into a strength. You just have to address it in advance. All right. So we just address it. Again, it doesn't really matter too much what you say. It's more so that you say something so that they're like, okay, cool, check. All right.
And if you guys are loving this so far, drop a comment down below, because I mean, to me, this is just extremely, extremely valuable. So look, if you guys are enjoying it so far, just drop a comment down below.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, this presentation helped us close over, hundreds of clients for our agency.
Yeah.
So like this exact one. All right. Then we go up before we dive in. And this is when we tell like a good before and after story. Yep. So the idea is I take the biggest pain points, and again, this is where you can personalize it. Mm-hmm. If you have the time, if they said, oh, what we hated about the other company was this, this, and that, you can bake that into your story.
Yeah.
So if you don't have time, then you want to take the most generic pain points that most people in your niche have. But if you have the time and you could personalize this a little bit based on what they told you on the first call,
yep,
you're going to be golden. So, and by the way, you don't have to always go through this story. I like to go through it when I'm not really sure if the person is really all that sold.
Okay.
But if they came from a referral or, they're really excited, I'm like, hey, we don't have to go through this if you don't want to. It's more so like for someone that's like, I'm not really sure. Like I'm still figuring it out, to really sell them on it.
Okay.
All right. So I just tell them a before and after of like, here, I'll just go through it really, really quickly.
Yeah, please.
Meet Dr. Jen and Dr. Brian. When they first started advertising online, they quickly became victim of the low quality leads disaster. So again, if they tell you all they hate is low quality leads, what if they tell you all they hate is TikTok chiropractors, like having to do short form content? So it's like they quickly became victim of the short form content disaster, having to create videos all the time. So you can modify your story based on the prospect if you have the time.
Exactly.
And they had no reliable system to get leads to actually show up and become paying patients. They hated getting hundreds of leads that would be impossible to get a hold of. And even when they did get a hold of them, they would either be broke or wouldn't show up. And they would have been much more happier with a handful of high quality patients. This is someone who prepays before the appointment, actually shows up, is serious about getting care, and refers other patients. Here's what they did in order to fix the problem. Again, you can kind of like modify this a little bit based on what they've already tried. They're like, holy crap, this guy gets me.
Yeah. Wow. You're basically just repeating back like what they've already told you, right?
Yes.
You're just going through exactly what they've already told you, and like they will love you for that.
They'll be like, this is exactly what I need.
Yeah. Wow.
Again, normally when people do like a one call close, they kind of do this and craft the offer on the spot and talk back to them. But that's more advanced. This gives you guys some guardrails. It makes it like a little bit more structured, a little bit easier to go through. And, nothing worked. Fast forward to now, as you can see here, they're crushing it. And most importantly, they have a proven system to get high quality patients in the door. Now, you might be wondering, that sounds great and all, but will it work for me? And this is where you could show more social proof. I kind of just go through this fast. Again, you don't have to do this. Like if you look at this one right here, it was bare bones. So like we literally skipped that entire intro and we just went right into showing them the system.
Yeah. So that's really what you're doing, right? For all the beginners out there, that don't have the social proof, just show them the system and talk about how you're going to do that.
Yes. And just align it back to their goals, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, with that in mind, let me introduce you to the, Ashley AI system that's automatically booking patients on your behalf. And we just go through it. So now I'd actually pull up Facebook ad account. I'd actually pull up Go High Level. I'd actually show them everything. Like I'd show them we had something called Chiro University where we actually train the clients on how to close. I would show them everything. I would actually show them like, here's everything you're getting. It's kind of like an actual demo of the product.
Yeah. Awesome. And Chiro University, right? Like people always say, well, I can give them quality leads. If I can give them quality leads and everything, but you're relying on them to know how to close. And a lot of, these local businesses don't know how to do that. So for you, like, obviously you've got that covered with Chiro University. You're going to show them how to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Like I also create the product stack based on the objections that I get. So if people are always saying, one of the big objections that we would always get is these patients don't show up. So I created the patients that prepay and show up toolbox. It's like I'm almost like giving them. I crafted this whole presentation to align with exactly what they wanted. So by the end, they think this is exactly what I need. So if clients are telling you, I hate Facebook, I just want TikTok, then you create the TikTok toolbox. You create TikTok University, where you also show them how to do organic content. You have TikTok master classes with 5 of the top chiropractor TikTokers. So you can create your offer based on what they already want.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Then we go over, just some things to keep in mind. Everything's month to month, et cetera, et cetera. And then we go over the money back guarantee. 20 new patients that show in the first 60 days or your money back, not including ad spend. So that's kind of the offer. Then I break down the system one more time, make it really clear this is what you're getting. Plus we have some free bonuses. Bonus 1, Google review campaign, bonus 2, reactivation campaign, bonus 3, we actually coach you guys through. There's a whole coaching program for the chiropractors. And let's see. Then we've got the Let Us Pay referral program. This is one of the hacks. If you could pay your clients for referrals, and it's going to incentivize them to keep referring clients to you. Then you bring it all together. Again, now they're very clear. This is all that I'm getting. Here's the value. And then boom, you go for the close. Like right here. So quick little heads up. This is when I was doing pay per show. I want to show you guys just a regular retainer close and a pay per show close. Just so you guys can see. And by the way, I'm going to send both of these to you guys.
Yeah, they'll really be in the description below. I should be able to attach them in the description
we'll make
below.
Like a Google Drive link or something with all the files.
Fantastic.
And you guys should go through all of them, because you could see this one's a little bit different, like the story based on the reset. We instead of showing the before and after story, we actually did a whole story about the global recession. So we modified it based on, again, what they were concerned about and what they wanted, what they really needed to hear to make a good decision. So anyways, here's the close. So you've got 2 choices. You get to the end, you go through everything. You say you've got 2 choices. Choice number 1, continue doing what you're doing and keep getting the same result. Or number 2, adapt, take the leap, grow your practice and help more people when others are failing. So moving forward, it's $2,997 per month plus $500 for ad spend and a one-time setup fee of $1,000. Or if we get started right now, it's only $19.97 a month plus $500 for ad spend, and we will waive the $1,000 setup fee, and you'll also get access to all the bonuses. Which investment option sounds best to you, Dr. John?
Definitely getting set up today.
Yeah, and then what's interesting is, even if they haven't decided yet, option B clearly sounds better. So they're already thinking, they answered this question by saying option B.
Yeah.
So you're getting them into a buying state. They're like, oh yeah, this option sounds best, even if they haven't made up their mind. If you're doing like pay per show, like here's how we did it. It was like, hey, if you want to take your time and think about our system, no worries. It's $3,500 and then $159 per showed appointment. Or if you move forward right now, our system is just, $24.97 one-time payment for the setup, and then after that, it's only $170 per showed appointment. So if anyone is doing like paper appointment or like a appointment pack of like 20, this is how you would do it.
And let me ask you a question, Joel. When you were figuring out the cost per showed appointment, how did you kind of figure that out? Like for people just starting out and they do want to guarantee, booked appointments, do you have like a, I guess, good process for them to understand, well, how do I know how much to charge, per appointment?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. So again, and you can hear me, by the way, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so for most beginners, I actually recommend starting lower and working their way up. So it's like you have to earn the right to charge more aggressively and be more exclusive. So at the beginning, if I'm a beginner, I'm even cool with saying, hey, I'll do this for $199 a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, then it seems like very easy to say yes to. Then it's only $800 a month. It's only $199 a week. As you get more and more clients, you could start to raise the price. So I'd say first, free trials, get a little bit of experience. Then what I would recommend is everyone do a lower first month. Say, hey, $500 for the first month, not including ad spend. Then after that, it's $2K a month. So you're still getting the higher ticket after the first month. Then after that, you kind of skip that. You just go right into $2K a month. Then after that, as your value keeps growing, you could start to raise the price to $2,500, $3K a month, et cetera, et cetera. But that's how I would work my way up.
Fantastic.
At the beginning, you want to make it easier for people to say yes, not harder.
Yeah, totally. Awesome.
Now, ad spend is the biggest lever that you could pull to increase client results. So I'd rather someone spend $100 a day and have a larger investment all in than a smaller, let's say $20 a day, and maybe they invested less, but your retainer or your fee is flat, unless you're doing, pay per show, but let's say on a retainer, it's flat. So at that point, more ad spend is not going to change your retainer. So it's actually more opportunities for them to crush it and get an ROI. So here's how we say, this is how we get them to spend a lot on ads. We say there's good, better, and best. Good is $50 a day, better 60, best is 70. Which option is best for you? Most people go with number 2. So I would actually raise this now. I'd probably make like the first one 50, 100, and 150.
Okay.
Just because the price of ads have gone up slightly. But that's what I would do. Cool. So after that, if they don't move forward because of pricing, so let's say that pricing is an issue, like they actually don't have money. Then we downsell them on our invite only starter program. We say option 3, you can get started today, and we'll drop our cost to $497 for the first 2 months plus ad spend. So it's $500 month 1, $500 month 2, and then after that it automatically upgrades. But you just take out some of the things. You take out the bonuses. You take out some of the bells and whistles. And the idea here is just to get people in. We actually use this up until like $50K a month in the dental agency.
Right. Okay.
To get as many, because we want momentum. The hardest thing at the beginning is to build momentum, to get social proof, to get clients that then can refer you more clients. So like at the beginning, I push this a lot. Over time, I only make it for people that truly can't afford our program, like at all.
Of course.
Or I maybe do it every once in a while, like on Black Friday, I'll say, hey, anyone that wants to get started, first month for $500 or first 2 months for $500 each month. If they want to think about it, we take a 100% fully refundable deposit of $250 or $100, whatever the case may be. It doesn't really matter, for 72 hours. And then they're going to take some time to think about it, but you're going to schedule them with your strategic partner so that they could speak to your top reference. Then after that, based on whether or not they started, you're going to go over next steps. And that's pretty much it.
Man, I love that. And I love that they're speaking with a client already. Like, I think a deposit is a great thing to get just to show commitment, because obviously statistically, if you get some form of commitment, even if it is refundable, the likelihood of them wanting a refund is so low. And then obviously with what you suggested on top of that, with speaking to someone, I mean, I bet your refunds are non-existent.
I mean, obviously there's some refunds, but
of course, but
much lower for sure.
Like they're probably
much lower for sure. Much lower for sure. Like there's very little buyer's remorse. Like it's very clear what they're getting. Again, I try to make it easier at the beginning for people. This gives you some guardrails to keep you like going in the right direction. And the only thing I'd warn people of, 2 warnings. After watching this, don't just copy and paste those slides. At the very least, aesthetically make it look different. Because if everyone starts to use the same slides, people will notice. That's first thing. The second thing is, or to add on that first, also take the framework of everything I showed you, especially on the slides, and innovate on it a little bit. Have fun with it. Like change it up a little bit. The fact that you're doing a demo presentation and so is everyone else is not the bad thing. That's like a dentist where are you based out of?
I'm in Cairns in Queensland in Australia.
Okay, even better. A dentist in Australia and a dentist in the United States that do Invisalign, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the same process, but maybe the office,
Yep.
aesthetic, how they treat you is a
It's
little
different.
bit different.
Yeah.
And some are better than others. So having a demo presentation as a whole is not take the framework, but then just make it your own a little bit.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. So
man, I had one last warning. Oh, it's really tempting to talk through this at all. And remember I said it's show and tell.
Yeah.
What I like to tell people when they find themselves talking a lot through this, change it from being a show and tell to make it show and ask.
Okay. Yeah.
Show, ask, conversational. Don't just like
questions.
Don't just talk the whole time and the doctor, the prospect, the roofer, the realtor is just sitting there.
You're going to lose them if you do that. Yeah.
So
it's got to be, you've got to engage with the prospect, ask them questions, not just go for 40 minutes nonstop, without asking any questions and just taking it slide by slide. You can't be robotic like that.
Absolutely.
And it's also like what you originally said with the intro call, right? Like ask, oh, why is that? Oh, how did that work for you? Those little questions you can't give, right? Because it's based on that conversation with the prospect, like you can't give that. You can give the overarching framework, but you can't give those specific whys, why nots. How did that sort of work for you? Okay, why is that? Those are the little things that, each one of you guys watching has to add on. And, you just got to keep that conversation flowing. You don't want to be methodical in the sense, like just going through the presentation, next step. You don't want that.
Don't want to do that. Yeah. Show and ask. That's, initially I said show and tell, but if you find yourself like overdoing it, just show and ask. And it's like when first time we met over Zoom, it wasn't just me talking, or I know today I talked a lot, but like the format was different. But when we first met, it was like, oh, you talk a little bit, I talk a little bit, I ask you some questions. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, you're doing that? Oh, that's an interesting. And we kind of went back and forth.
Exactly. And that's what it's about, right? And I think it's also important, like you guys should record your calls, like record your presentations and re-watch them, right? And because as you build and as you grow, like what you were saying with your sales team, I'm assuming like you probably get your salespeople to re-watch their sales calls to see what they could have done differently, right? I think this is so important to understand, because sometimes when you're just showing the presentation, you won't catch yourself, just blabbing on and talking, right? It takes you going back over it for a second time. Okay, well, what happened here? And then as you analyze it, shit, I didn't show and ask. I just showed and just spent 40 minutes just blurting out information, right? So
exactly. Yeah, I think like every day, guys, you have to practice. Call reviews is the number one thing, like Cody said. That's the number one. If you can review your calls, if you can get someone that's better at sales to come in and help you guys, it's even better. Then you're going to do role play and objection handling. That's going to be the next. So if you're practicing, highest priority is call review, then role play and objection handling, then learning something new. So
100%.
That's it. Hopefully that was valuable, guys. If you found it valuable, I guess drop a comment.
Drop a comment, guys. Drop a comment. The
subscribe to Cody's channel, I guess, if you haven't.
Guys, Joel's channel will be in the description below. As I said in the intro, the Google Drive link will be in there. So download all of this and actually use it. Don't just download it, save it to your computer, and then don't implement it. Like actually use this, use these resources, because I mean, to me, they're just so valuable. Like we've already discussed, Joel scaled his agency to 300K a month. He sold it. And now he's got Agency Lab, where he teaches other agency owners to do the exact same thing, and his results are insane. So his social media links will be in the description below: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So follow him, learn, absorb, be a sponge, because I mean, Joel's just fantastic. And I've even been following him for, like I said to you, Joel, for the last couple of years. And yeah, I mean, the results that you get, your clients and your students are like literally some of the best in the industry, right?
Yeah, thank you, man. I pour my heart and soul into it, as you do as well. You know, I've heard great things with, you know, with the launch of your program. So I'm really, really pumped for there to be more players in the space that are actually results driven and integrity driven. And clearly you're a good guy. So appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.